All right, welcome everybody to the RealtyNinja Success webinar. Today we're going to be telling you how to get the most out of your RealtyNinja website. Oftentimes you're wondering, okay, I've launched my website, but now how do I optimize it? So that's what this webinar is all about. Before we get started, I do want to tell you that this is an automated webinar, which means that what you're watching now is a recording. However, there is a live RealtyNinja team member here to answer any questions you have. So please feel free to use that chat box in your webinar window to ask any questions while you're going through this webinar. If anything pops up in your mind, type it in and a real human ninja will answer your questions, okay? So what's on the agenda today? So we're going to do a quick intro and talk about some of the rules we've learned over the years of building real estate websites. Then we're going to get into on-site optimization tactics. So things you can do on your website to convert more visitors into leads. Next, we're going to do off-site optimization tactics. So talking about things like SEO and PPC and social media and other ways you can generate traffic for your website. We're going to finish up by talking about the Dojo, our real estate marketing and technology blog, as well as our new premium ebook bundle. At the very end, we'll do a modern marketing Q&A, so you can stick around in the last 5 minutes. You'll just be able to type your questions into chat and someone will answer them. But again, as I said, feel free to ask your questions as you're going as well, because someone is moderating the chat and there's a real human here to help you out and answer your questions as you go. If you do stick around until the very end of the webinar, you will be redirected to a page where you can download these slides. Now, if you don't want to stick around till the end, feel free to take your notes as you're going through, but if you do wait the extra 5 minutes at the end, you will get these slides, so you don't need to take notes. You can just kind of sit back and watch the presentation. So give yourself a pat on the back, give yourself a self-high five. The fact that you're using RealtyNinja, a modern, mostly automated, mobile-first platform to build your real estate website already puts you ahead of the average agent. Believe it or not, about half the agents out there still don't have their own website. They're using websites that are provided to them by their brokerage or on domains that don't actually belong to them. And of the agents who do have their own website, an overwhelming majority of them don't look very good and don't really function that well from a usability standpoint. So again, give yourself a high five. You're well ahead of the average agent. However, this is not a webinar about being average. This is a webinar about getting the most out of your website. So let's get into it. These days, you're living in a crazy time. This is an attention economy. Attention is worth its weight in gold, okay? And your biggest challenge is standing out because everybody's looking for that attention, okay? Attention is digital currency. And these days, we're all getting pounded with so much more content than we did just 5, 10, 15 years ago, okay? There's so much content being uploaded to YouTube. There's movies being produced on Netflix. You know, your cousin's friend's dog has an Instagram channel. Everybody's out there on social media and with their websites producing content, trying to take your attention in the attention economy. So when you think about the fact that you're operating your business in an attention economy, it makes you wonder, what do I need to do as a real estate agent to borrow some people's attention to put it on my brand for a while, whether it's on my social media or on my website or any part of my brand online? How do I get their attention? So we've been building real estate websites for years. You know, RealtyNinja is a decade old or more. And, you know, before that, we were doing custom websites for agents in Canada. And so we've been around for years. And, you know, we know what it takes to make your website kind of truly ninja. And the most successful real estate websites follow these two simple rules. Rule number 1, don't be generic. Generic marketing is forgettable. And don't be generic means pick a target audience, right? Essentially, is know who you're talking to and speak to those people directly. And rule number 2 is create value, real value for your target audience. So your website might belong to you, but it's not all about you. Your website is all about your visitor. So know who your visitor is and provide them with real value. This is how one way you're going to get their attention in the attention economy, by being a brand that's bringing value to their target audience and by knowing who their target audience is. These days, you know, thousands of your potential buyers and sellers are online. Everybody is on social media, everybody's on, connected to the internet, and they're all browsing the internet, and they're all online all day long. So for fairly inexpensive, you can actually reach these people where they are on their mobile phone or on their iPad or on their laptop, at home, at work, wherever they are, you have access to them. So this is a huge opportunity by using modern marketing tools like websites and social media and whatnot to connect with people. Now, as real estate agents, I see your face all around town, no matter where I am. You're kind of like a local celebrity in my community and in every community, because you're out there promoting and, you're hosting events and sponsoring events and, shaking hands and kissing babies, so to speak. And so you can extend that local celebrity status online, and you can become the quote unquote digital mayor of your niche online by extending that connection to people through to their Instagram, their Twitter, their Facebook, their YouTube, and even through your website, wherever they are online. So this is huge, a huge opportunity. When you're building your real estate website, it doesn't matter if you're building the first one, if you're kind of rebranding, if you're building your 10th real estate website, it's never too late to stop and ask yourself these two questions. Question number one, who am I building this website for? So this goes back to what I mentioned a few slides ago about not being generic, right? Picking your target audience and knowing who that target audience is and knowing that you're building that website for those people. So know who you're building your website for. Ask yourself this question and have an answer to that, because that'll help drive your decisions. Now, speaking of decisions, question number two, what do I want these visitors to do on my website? So you need to figure out what the flow is, what the most important pages of your website are, what your funnel is. When people get to your website, what's the next step, and the next step before they become a lead? So you want to guide these people throughout your website. So know who you're building your website for and know exactly what you want them to do on your website. Oftentimes just being like, pick up the phone and call me, it might not be enough. They might not be ready yet. So maybe you need to get them to join your mailing list, or maybe you want to get them to follow you on social media. Know what these things are and provide people with an easy path to do these things, take these actions, okay? So here's a list of, a bunch of things a truly ninja real estate website should do. A website that is well above the average, okay? Now, I'm not one that likes to kind of read through a bullet list, so I'm not going to read through all of these. You can read through these yourself, but I do want to highlight a few of them, okay? So one of them is, I believe, the fifth bullet down, which is creating trust with your audience to break through the digital barrier, okay? So trust is huge in real estate. I don't need to tell you that. People need to feel like they can trust you, that you're going to make the best decisions for them and you have their best intentions at heart when they want to transact, hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars in property with you, right? And so through your website, you can actually break that digital barrier and you can create a good amount of trust. How do you do this? I mean, creating videos is one great way, one powerful way to build trust, because people get to look you in the eyes, listen to your voice, and really feel a connection with you just through a screen, okay? Other ways are showing your sold listings or showing any awards that you've won, or, even showing mentions in the news or anything like that, anything that kind of gives you credibility, like your past testimonials. These are all ways that you can build trust with people through your website. And it's very, very important to do that, to try and do that through your site. The next one I want to mention is a few from the bottom. It's that your website represents you 24/7, and it's often the first impression people have of your brand. So whether you are, whether your potential customers are browsing your website in the middle of the day at 2 p.m. or in the middle of the night at 2 a.m., your website is always kind of a representative of your business. Now, think about your website as an employee, someone you are paying constantly every day to work for you. Is that employee representing your brand accurately? Are you happy with the way that they're representing your brand? So take a look at your website through that lens of, my website is a 24/7 employee, and ask yourself, am I happy with this employee? Am I giving them a raise, or do they need a scolding? Do they need to be fired and replaced with another employee? Okay. A lot of times people are going to arrive at your website and that's going to be their first impression of you, and it might cause them to pick up the phone and become a client, or it might cause them to walk away and go look at a different website, okay? So keep that in mind. This is really, really important. Your website is a round-the-clock representative and employee of your business. The last one I want to highlight is the big bold one at the bottom. Again, provide value to your target audience. Like I said, your website is not about you. It is your website, and the only way that it's going to actually provide value to you is if you provide value to your target audience. So keep that in mind. And again, it goes back. Don't be generic. Provide real value to your target audience. So know who these people are and find ways to provide them value through your website. Now, before we get into on-site optimization tactics, one thing I just want to talk about is this analogy that we've been using for years at RealtyNinja. So your website is like this awesome sports car, okay? It's sleek, it's powerful, it's fast, it's got horsepower and torque and bucket seats and paddle shifting and all that good stuff that you need to win races. What it doesn't have is a driver. Okay, so someone needs to drive this car if they want this car to win some races. And the same is true about your RealtyNinja website. It needs a driver. If you want your website to just kind of be a brochure that's online, that's fine. Maybe it doesn't need a driver. But if you want it to actually provide results for your business, which I'm assuming you do because you're here at this webinar, then someone needs to drive it. Someone needs to use it. Your website's a tool. If nobody uses it, nothing, it's not going to get, you're not going to get any use out of it. And so make sure, whether it's yourself, an assistant, a third-party company you're hiring, someone needs to use that website to generate value for you, okay? So with that said, let's talk about some of the ways you can use your website. Let's start with on-site optimization tactics. So things you can do on your website to make it more awesome and make it convert more traffic into leads. The first one to start with is blogging, content, and resources, okay? And arguably the most important in our opinion. So by producing blog posts or content or resources on your site, what you're engaging in is an act called inbound marketing. So inbound marketing is when you create resources on your site and people find those, and that's how they arrive on your website. That's how they arrive inbound into your website through search engines or links online that they've seen, okay? So it's really, really important that you create as much content that is, useful to your target audience as possible on your website. The blog is a great avenue to do this, but also creating other content and content pages or community guides or anything like that is a great way to attract visitors inbound to your website, okay? When you're creating content, ask yourself, is it helpful? Is it unique? Is it novel? Or is it new? These are 4 things that psychologically people find attracts them to content and information in general, okay? So whether it's a newspaper or an online blog post, it needs to be helpful. It needs to be unique. It needs to have novelty. It needs to be new information. If it's not one of these things, I wouldn't bother with it. If it's one or more of these things, fantastic. Go ahead and produce that content. And don't forget to use mixed media. So if you're using images on a blog post, now that blog post can appear not only on Google, but also on Google image search. If you're using a video in the blog post and you're creating a video blog, then that video can show up in YouTube, and then the blog post will actually show up in Google as well. Next on-site optimization tactic is unique descriptions on your listings and MLS pages. So unique content is an extremely important concept in SEO, and SEO means search engine optimization for those who don't know. So search engines will only reward your website if it has unique content on it. If you're copy pasting content from another website, that is duplicate content, and search engines don't reward you, and in some cases it can actually negatively impact your SEO score. So it's not a good idea to go copy paste a bunch of info from Wikipedia to your website. You want to write real content, okay? So something to keep in mind is that listing data, so the listings that appear on your real estate website, are by nature duplicate content. So that listing data is not originating on your website. It's originating on the real estate board, and then it's being fed out to thousands of other agent websites out there, real estate websites on the internet, okay? So, the listing on your website is not unique content, and therefore you're not getting SEO rewards for it. You need to actually create, something unique, a page that's unique that has listings embedded in it, for example, in order to get SEO benefits. So one great thing to do is create like a community page. So if you're showing listings in, the Yaletown area of Vancouver, then maybe you create a Yaletown community page that has listings in it. Now that page can actually start attracting SEO visitors and getting you some SEO points for your website. Another thing you can do is customize the listings. Okay, so listings that belong to you on your RealtyNinja website, you have the power to log in and actually edit them and modify them and add more, like a lengthier listing description or more photos, or embed a virtual tour, or attach, a PDF, like, a brochure for the property, or strata docs, or whatever it is that you want to attach. So if the listing belongs to you, as in if it matches your agent ID, you can customize it. And when you customize it, now that listing is the only listing of its kind online. Okay. So all the other thousands of websites out there that have that listing on them, they're different from the one that is on your website. So this looks great when clients search the address and your website shows first, because it's the only one showing a unique version. Okay. So just a big tip, just to keep in mind, not only for listing pages, but just pages in general, try not to copy paste information. It's essentially online plagiarism, and it doesn't look great. Now, just a quick example of a listing description page, of a community guide that has listing information on it. So this website, you can go to princetonbc.com/Princeton and take a look at this community page. They've got a nice video here, a description that they've written, a weather widget, information about, coffee houses and restaurants, shops, lots of nice photos. And then when you scroll to the bottom, there's also listings for sale. Okay. So this is a great resource for humans as well as for search engines to send traffic to your site. So instead of just showing the listings, you want to give a bit of information. All right. Next on-site optimization tactic is proper keywords and alt tags. So when I started working in, online on the internet and in websites, keywords were something that were tucked into the code of your website. So there were meta keywords, meta title, and meta description. And these were the three things that basically told search engines what a website was about. Nowadays, search engine algorithms are very intelligent, and they can read your website at, I believe, a 7th grade comprehension level. And they can actually understand what your website is about by just reading, all of the copy on it, all of the text on it, and looking at the photos and everything like that. So in other words, keywords are everywhere. Okay. So you want to make sure after you've picked your target audience, right? Because we're not going to be generic. We're going to pick a target audience, and we want to know what kind of things that target audience is searching for. What's important to them? What are the keywords that they're looking up on Google? Let's use those keywords all over our website. Okay. And try not to be sneaky. Don't just stuff keywords in. I've seen websites out there that say, like, I'm the best realtor, #1 realtor, Remax, best realtor, Vancouver. And it's like, that's not actually a sentence, right? Don't try and trick search engines. Like I said, they can actually read your website at a pretty high comprehension level. It's tough to trick a 12-year-old with that kind of language. Okay, so write actual sentences. Don't stuff your keywords. You might get negatively impacted by search engines if they catch you doing that. So write for humans, and the search engines will reward you. Now, alt tags are keywords for your images. So if you look at this screenshot, this is an alternate text tag. So this is an alt tag, and this tells search engines what the photo is about. So when you're editing your RealtyNinja website, you can click the image options, the gear icon that appears on the image, and it'll give you this option to add alternate text to your website. So you can actually add a little SEO description here, all right? And that will now tell search engines that this is a photo of Katie Burkhardt. She works in Vancouver, and she's a real estate professional, okay? Next on-site optimization tactic is your bio and your testimonials. So a missed opportunity I see often is when agents don't update their About Me or their bio page on their website or their testimonials, okay? A lot of people are arriving at your website because they want to get to know you. They want to see if you're the right agent to work with, if you're a good fit for them. If I'm one of these people and I get to your website and I click the About Me page and it says this page is under construction, well, maybe I'll just leave, because that's all I wanted to do on your website. I wanted to get to know you. And you don't know how much money you're leaving on the table by not filling out this bio or this About Me page. I know it's hard to write about yourself, but it's really a worthwhile practice. And if you prefer, grab a smartphone or camera and film a video of yourself just for 30 seconds saying, hi, my name is such and such. This is the community I serve. This is why I love doing what I do. These are the kinds of people I love working with, and I can't wait to hear from you. that video is so much easier to create than writing a whole bunch of text about yourself. It's much easier to watch for your visitors, and it breaks the digital barrier. It's so much easier to connect and trust you if I can look you in the eyes and listen to your voice. So create a video for your About Me, okay? And again, don't forget about the testimonials. It's always a good idea to collect your testimonials on Google Business, because that way it's your Google reviews essentially, and that will help your SEO score. But then copy paste those reviews onto your website as well. Don't just put them on the testimonials page, put them on the home page, put them on every page, okay? Testimonials are great. They show your credibility and they help you build trust as well. So get those testimonials up, get that About Me page up. If there's one thing you walk away from this presentation with, let it be this: update your About Me page. All right, last on-site optimization tactic before we get into off-site is call to actions. So if you'll recall earlier in this presentation, we asked two simple questions: who is this website for, and what do I want them to do? What do I want these people to do when they get to my website? Call to actions help that second question, okay? So you want to direct your visitors throughout your website. You want to know what the journey is, the path that they're going to take, what your objective is, and you want to guide them through that journey, through to that objective using call to actions. So call to actions are every link on your website essentially, but some call to actions are going to be more prominent on websites. And so, if I can dig through your entire website's menu, but maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I just want to click the most important things, right? So you got to know what is the most important thing for your target audience to do when they get to your website, and put that up front and center on every page of your website, okay? One thing I'll say, one caveat is try not to make your main call to action just browsing MLS, okay? MLS search is not something unique to you or unique to your brand. MLS search is something anybody can do online on a lot of places. A lot of websites have MLS search, okay? Pretty much every agent website has MLS search on it. So that's not what makes you unique. Instead, ask yourself, what kind of properties are my target audience looking for? Maybe I'll create a search that's showing those properties. Maybe they're first-time buyers, so they're trying to find condos under 500,000. So maybe I'll create a condos under 500,000 search and put that as my main call to action instead of just browsing the MLS, okay? All right, so with that said, let's get into I just had a screenshot here to show you. I was jumping the gun a little bit. So all of this stuff that you're looking at here with the arrows pointed at it are call to actions, okay? So new home construction, that's a pretty unique call to action. They know their target audience here, and this is what they're trying to show them. Get in touch is a good one. And then there's real estate search. So this is not their only one. This is like an MLS search, right? If this was all they were showing, I would say that's no good. But it's one of their top three. And the new home construction is kind of their most primary one here on the left. So, you don't need to have just one call to action. You can have multiple. That's fantastic. All right. So getting into off-site optimization tactics. So, working on the internet elsewhere other than your website to send traffic to your website. And before I get into the tactics, I just want to talk about SEO in a nutshell. So SEO is search engine optimization. And I just want to mention something at a very, very high level about SEO. So search engines don't just look at your website. They look at everything your brand does online, and they use all that information to put together a story about what you do and who you are, okay? And that's the information that they use to show your results on search engines. Now, you want to be in the first 5 results on Google. That's where, everybody's clicking. Now, think about the last time you went to page 2 on Google. Probably not for ages, right? Google's job is to show searchers the best results at the very top, and they're getting better and better at that every day. That's their entire business, right? So they're improving their business, which means we need to improve the way we do our SEO. You want to make sure that the message you're sending to search engines everywhere that you exist online is consistent and cohesive, okay? So if you're on Instagram and you're talking to first-time home buyers, you got to make sure your website's talking to first-time home buyers, and your YouTube channel and your Facebook page. So don't have a disjointed, broken message all over the place where on your Instagram you're talking to first-time home buyers, on your website, you're talking to luxury condo buyers. On your YouTube channel, you're talking to empty nesters, and you think that by doing that, you're reaching a broader, piece of the market. When in fact, you're telling search engines a broken up story about your brand, and that's going to eventually do you harm when search engines are trying to show your results, because they're not going to know who to show them to. Okay, so make sure you're telling a consistent, cohesive message online. Make sure everywhere that you exist online is telling the same story as well. All right, with that said, let's talk about our first offsite optimization tactic, which is optimizing your bio on brokerage sites and other directories where you exist online. Before I explain what I'm talking about, I want to talk about backlinks, okay? Backlinks are the number one, or in our opinion, the number one SEO signal to increase your SEO score online. Now, what a backlink is essentially when any other website on the internet links back to your website, okay? Now, why is that important? Because that tells search engines that your website has authority, that people should listen to you, because a lot of people are linking to your website, okay? They're stating your website is an authoritative resource, and so you have authority, okay? Your website has authority. The more people link to your website, the more your authority goes up and the higher your rank on search engines. Okay, it's just the way that it works. And that's, Google's kind of main indicator, but also other search engines use that as well. So you want to get backlinks. And so go do a Google search of yourself and open up every website that shows up for your brand in different tabs, and make sure that your website is prominently listed on all of those websites. Now, whether it's social media page like your Facebook page, or whether it is like a networking site like Alignable, or anywhere like your brokerage website obviously has a directory of you. Make sure your website is on all of these places. These are all going to be backlinks. But don't stop there. Reach out to your partners, people that you work with, notaries, home stagers, closing gift companies, mortgage brokers, all these people that you work with, and do a link share with them. Do a link trade. So you put a link to their site on your website, and they put a link to your site on theirs, okay? This increases both of your backlinks and helps your SEO score. So it's a mutual kind of benefit that way. Also, another thing you can do is provide guest articles to blogs. So one thing I'll note is that, okay, let's say you have a partner who's a mortgage broker and they get 500 visitors a week to their website, okay? Getting a backlink from them is fantastic. But let's say there's this big blog in town that gets 1 million visitors a month. Getting a backlink from them is worth way more, okay? So if you're getting a backlink from a website that has a higher authority, then your authority goes up more than if you're getting a backlink from a website that has a lower authority, okay? So all of the backlinks are good. Never say no to a backlink. Always yes to backlinks. But recognize that some backlinks are worth more as well. So when I say write guest blog posts, I'm talking about writing guest blog posts for big publications. Like, who are the biggest blogs in your area? Reach out to them and write them a guest blog post. They love that, okay? They will always accept guest blog posts from experts, and you're an expert in real estate. If you write them an article that they can publish, you're essentially doing their job for them. Content is their, product, right? Blog posts are their product, these big blogs. So you're giving them a product to sell essentially for free. You're not going to get paid for doing this, but you're going to get a delicious backlink that's going to send your SEO score skyrocketing with time. If you can get in with these people and do constant blog posts, like recurring ones once a month or once every few months, awesome, okay? I highly recommend it. These backlinks are going to be worth their weight in gold. All right, next offsite optimization tactic, social media publishing and engagement. Now, I have been working online for years and years, and I remember when I started in marketing, I think it was 2008 or 2009, and back then social media was different. It was pretty new, all right? And I remember you didn't like a Facebook page, you became a fan. Instagram didn't even exist, and Twitter was a social network that you literally texted tweets to. You had to text them in from your phone. There was no app yet, okay? So things have changed quite a bit in the social media landscape. There's been new social networks added. The existing ones have been upgraded. It's amazing. However, the fundamentals of social media have stayed the same. Social media has always stood on 2 feet. One foot is publishing, the other is engagement. Now, if you took away the engagement foot, all you have is media. You no longer have social media, okay? We always had media. It was the news. They would publish stuff and we would look at it. We wouldn't engage with them. Social media is where people can publish and engage with content ongoing, okay? So you got to keep that in mind when you're putting together your social media strategy in real estate. Social media can be a big driver of traffic to your real estate website and can really help increase your SEO score and the amount of visitors and leads you get through your website. But you need to do social media right, okay? So if you're just publishing, constantly publish, over time, your engagement is going to drop. Why? Because you're not out there engaging with people yourself. So you need to be a part of the whole conversation. You can't just be publishing. And I've noticed over the years, real estate agents have become really good at publishing on social media, but they're still shying away from the engagement. Now, remember, I told you, thousands of your potential target audience are on social media. So why don't you go do a browse, look up their hashtags, look up hashtag Vancouver or hashtag Calgary or hashtag Toronto, and take a look at some of these photos that are being posted and go like these photos and comment on these photos. Engage with other people's content, okay? What happens when you engage with someone's content? Well, they get a notification that says, so-and-so real estate has just liked your photo, or so-and-so real estate has just commented on your photo, right? What happens when someone gets a notification? They get a dopamine rush, okay? That's just the science behind it. That dopamine rush can be coming from your real estate brand. That is fantastic marketing, right? There was never a way before to get dopamine to people from your brand. Now there is. And so use that. Go out and engage with people and make engagement 50% of your social media strategy. The more you engage, the more people are going to come back and follow you and engage with you. If you never post a single photo on your Instagram, but all you do is go out there and engage with people, I guarantee your following will grow way faster than if you're just posting and never engaging, okay? And again, don't forget, it is a great resource, social media, but you don't own it, okay? You own your website and you want to send the traffic to your website where you own the domain and you own the SEO score. You don't own the SEO score for your social media. Doesn't mean that social media is not important. It's very important because it can send traffic to your website. So make sure you're using your social media to send that traffic to your website when you're engaging and publishing. All right, last offsite optimization tactic is paid traffic versus organic traffic. So let's talk about the difference between these two for a second. Organic traffic is any visitors that arrive on your website that you didn't directly pay for. You may have indirectly paid for it by putting time into producing content, right? But you didn't directly pay for it in terms of buying ads. That's the difference between organic and paid. So paid is very much the opposite, where you actually paid for advertising. So you bought Google ads, Twitter ads, LinkedIn ads, Facebook ads. You bought ads that sent traffic to your website, okay? Now, the mistake I see often is that real estate agents think that, actually not real estate agents, a lot of people, a lot of marketers think that advertising, just like whatever, is going to get them a bunch of good, high quality leads and visitors to their website. That's not true. You need to keep in mind what online advertising is, okay? Online advertising is actually referred to as PPC, which stands for pay per click. So when you're advertising something online, you're paying for a click, right? Now, when you're designing your ad that you're advertising, think about who's going to click this and why are they going to click it and what's going to happen when they click it. Do they know what's going to happen when they click it? Is my ad obvious enough? A lot of times I see agents creating pay-per-click ads that are similar to bus shelter ads. But bus shelter ads and pay-per-click ads on Facebook are very different things. They have very different purposes and objectives. So you don't want to take your bus shelter ad and just use it as a Facebook ad or a Google ad as well. You want to create an ad that people can click and they know what's going to happen when they click it, okay? So just advertising whatever content is not a solution to getting visitors to your site. You need to actually give people a reason to care about what you're advertising so that they click it. So here's an example of a billboard you might see in the community. I don't mind this billboard. I don't think it's the most clever billboard or anything, but it's not bad. Got Realtor reminds me of Got Milk, right? It'll catch my eye. It's got Linda's name, phone number, and email on it, and website on it, her photo, and her brokerage. So that's great. If I see this every day on my drive to work, Linda's going to be on my mind when I'm thinking real estate. That's just the way that it works. Or if this is a bus shelter ad, that's great. That's totally fine, right? It's raising your awareness in the community. But nobody will click this. If this is an online ad, what's going to happen when I click this? What does Got Realtor mean? What happens when I click this? I'm assuming it's going to take me to homesanyone.com, but do I know? Do I care? Do I want to go there? I might accidentally click it, and that's going to cost Linda $1, and then I might just back out and leave, right? Or Linda's competitors might come and click it, and it might cost her a bunch of money, and then they might leave, and Linda's not getting any leads out of it and wondering why she's spending all this money on the advertisement. Whereas if this was an advertisement for a blog post, let's say, the top 10 dog parks in Edmonton, for example, people know that when they click the ad, they're going to see the top 10 dog parks in Edmonton. There's no confusion as to what happens next, right? And that's an awesome resource. And, it's something that provides value to people in the Edmonton area where this ad is going to be promoted, right? So again, just to recap, make sure you're not copying your neighborhood, your outdoor advertising to your online advertising. Offline and online have different purposes. So make sure people know what they're going to click, where they're going to get to when they click your ads online. And we're almost done, guys. Thank you so much for sticking with me all the way through. The last thing, and arguably the most important that I want to mention, is that consistency is really the key here. All of this stuff that we talked about today, it's great, but it's not a set it and forget it thing to do. Okay, you need to actually actively create content. You need to actively use social media. You need to actively use, advertising. You need to make sure your About Me video is updated, and every year there's a new one, so it's up to date with what's going on with you. All these things need to be done regularly. Your website needs to be updated regularly. I guarantee you the majority of your competition are not doing this, okay? So many real estate agents are just setting up a website and then not touching it for 5 years. So if you are actively staying consistent with your online marketing efforts, you are going to see results, okay? If you outlast your competition, it's gonna work. It's tried and true. I didn't invent this stuff, okay? This is stuff that we use at RealtyNinja ourselves. So, for example, we've recently created a resource called the Dojo, the Blueprint for Real Estate Marketing Mastery. And so it's this awesome bundle of content. There's an ebook in there. It's got an audio book as well. There's over 50 Canva design templates. There's lots of vouchers. There's over 4 hours of video interviews with experts in real estate. So we put together this really awesome bundle, and we're giving that away to you for free right now if you use the promo code Ninja Success. So this is our way of creating a resource that attracts people to RealtyNinja, okay? This is a premium resource, but you might just create an ebook that people can get for free if they give you their email address. Our blog, we've been blogging regularly for years, and our blog is now the source of the majority of the traffic that comes to RealtyNinja.com. It didn't happen overnight. It took, about 6 months to a year before we started to see some real momentum through our blog. But now, years and years later, hundreds of thousands of visitors are arriving at RealtyNinja.com all the time just through our blog. So these are things that work. These are things that are tried marketing concepts, creating resources, creating content, engaging with people, staying consistent. It's tried and true, and we drink the Kool-Aid and it works. And we talk to thousands of realtors, and the realtors who use this stuff, it works for them as well. So please go to realtyninja.com/dojo and get your hands on your free copy. Just use the promo code Ninja Success. This is usually $99, but we're giving it to you for free today for joining us on this webinar. And please go read the Realty Ninja Real Estate Marketing and Technology blog and subscribe as well so you get updates. I write this blog, and I'll make sure that you don't get you're not getting spammed or anything. You'll only get content once it comes out on the blog, and it'll be a notification to go read it. So I highly recommend you subscribe. Again, thank you guys so much for joining us today on this webinar. I hope it was helpful, and I hope you've been asking lots of questions. What we're going to do now is switch over to a 5-minute Q&A period where you'll be able to ask more questions and engage with our ninjas here who will answer your questions. If the Q&A session ends before you're done with your questions, please feel free to reach out via email at info@realtyninja.com, and we can chat with you via email or schedule a time to talk on the phone. Thanks again, ninjas, and have an awesome day.